Hello and welcome to the weekly Asylum and Immigration Reform Recap, where I share with you 5 recent stories of interest for asylum seekers and those wanting to stay updated on immigration news. This week, we're discussing
Advocacy groups for immigrants are condemning the Biden administration for circulating videos of deportation flights, claiming they portray migrants negatively. Despite warnings, Texas installed anti-immigrant buoys in the Rio Grande, potentially violating treaties and federal regulations, leading to the Justice Department taking legal action. The New York Attorney General has chosen not to defend the governor concerning the treatment of asylum seekers, highlighting disagreements on migrant management in the city. 61 Congress members have called on USCIS to do more to address the massive asylum backlog, suggesting prioritizing older cases. And lawyers in Florida have filed for an injunction against a state law that criminalizes the transportation of undocumented immigrants, arguing that federal law supersedes state regulations.
I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum attorney, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right, let's get to the news. First up,
advocacy groups for immigrants are voicing concerns about the Biden administration's choice to circulate videos of families being deported. They've described this as a method to publicize the return of foreign individuals. A coalition of 11 groups has called on the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to stop the release of such videos, branding them as disturbing and degrading. The clips don't provide any information about the family histories and show them in an intimidating, militarized environment, seemingly portraying them as menacing. These videos seem designed to discourage migration and to address criticism from the Republican side, while also casting a negative light on those looking for refuge in the U.S. However, it's questionable if this approach will work, since factors like economic and political situations in home countries play a more significant role in migration decisions than intimidating strategies in the U.S.
And up next for update number 2.
Despite multiple warnings, Texas officials went ahead with placing anti-immigrant buoys in the Rio Grande, which may be in violation of a treaty between the U.S. and Mexico as well as federal regulations. Even though they were frequently reminded about needing federal clearance, Texas continued with the setup of this barrier. This decision drew more attention after the tragic discovery of 2 migrants who had drowned near the obstruction. The International Boundary Commission had constantly reminded Texas about the compulsory federal permits and floodplain assessments. Reacting to this, the Justice Department has decided to take legal action against Texas to ensure the removal of these barriers. Especially after the drownings, Governor Greg Abbott's decision to keep the buoys in place has faced global disapproval. While Abbott stands firm on his decision, records show that state authorities were well informed but chose to overlook the required permit conditions.
All right, it's time for our third immigration update.
The Attorney General of New York has opted against defending the governor in a legal situation revolving around the care of numerous asylum seekers. This decision hints at a disagreement over the city's approach to a recent increase in migrants arriving in the city. This differing stance underscores the complexities and varying views on addressing the intricate issue of migration in the state. With resources being pushed to their limits and a steady flow of migrants from the southern boundary, New York City has taken steps to transfer many migrants to the state's northern regions.
By the way, if you want to stay updated on asylum and immigration reform news, then make sure to press the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Okay, moving on, we're ready for update number 4.
61 Congress members have expressed concerns to USCIS over significant delays at asylum offices. Approximately 800,000 cases, representing over 1 million individuals, remain in the affirmative asylum backlog. Over 180,000 cases have awaited decisions for more than 5 years, with some in limbo since 2015. In September 2021, Congress addressed this issue, but the backlog has since almost doubled. Now, a follow-up letter to the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security and the USCIS Director recommends the adoption of 2 key changes: prioritizing older cases and establishing a 5-year cutoff, after which applications move to the front. However, these are mere suggestions, raising concerns that USCIS might ignore them. The letter also requests detailed insights into the asylum office's operations. Many of these asylum seekers are torture survivors who shared their harrowing experiences and the negative impact of long wait times. Their stories were instrumental in the letter's creation. The outcome now depends on USCIS's response. The push for these inquiries didn't happen in isolation. Asylum seekers, advocates, and agencies have been lobbying Congress.
And finally, our 5th immigration update for this week.
There's more litigation in Florida over the state's harsh new anti-immigrant law. Attorneys representing migrants have requested a preliminary injunction against a recent state law criminalizing the transportation of individuals entering the U.S. illegally. The motion, filed in South Florida, argues that federal law, which governs migrant transportation, overrules the state law. They claim that courts have affirmed that only Congress can legislate in this domain, and the state law should therefore be halted. If approved, the injunction could temporarily stop the law. The provision in question was part of wider legislation, known as SB 1718, that was introduced this spring by Governor Ron DeSantis, targeting illegal immigration. The law also mandates businesses with over 25 workers to use the E-Verify system. Last month, a different lawsuit was introduced, challenging the law's constitutionality. Lawyers argue the law is causing significant harm, separating families and preventing people from carrying out basic daily activities.
And that concludes this week's immigration news. If you want to win asylum in the United States, then you should call my office today. We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can assist you in securing your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.